Hello and welcome to our coverage of the FIFA World Cup 2018. Another interesting day today where Brazil will be up in the first match. Of course, the other match between Iceland and Nigeria, of course, doesn't look that mouth-watering, but a whole nation, which is Argentina, will be waiting with bated breath, and so will our guest Jyoti here in our studio as well, hoping for a Nigerian win. We'll talk about all of that and also what happened in the matches last night. But first, we'll look at the first match. Brazil will take on Costa Rica in their second and must-win group game. The five-time world champions were stalled at a 1-1 draw by Switzerland in their first game in Group E. Brazil needs to win this game to cement its foot in the next round, while Costa Rica, which is at the bottom of the group tally, needs at least a draw to remain in the fray.
Five-time world champions looked colourless against a surprising Swiss side in their opener last week. Though they were stopped at a 1-1 draw, the Brazilians are not worried about qualifying for the knockout phase just yet. In their last two World Cup encounters with Costa Rica, Brazil have come out victorious on each occasion, beating them 1-0 in 1990 and 5-2 in 2002. The worry for Brazil remains Neymar's fitness. The striker sat out from Tuesday's training session because of pain in his right ankle. The team has so far underplayed the slight hitch.
O Neymar é dos melhores jogadores do mundo, né? Jogar com ele no nosso time com certeza é grande plus pra gente. É jogador importantíssimo para nossa equipe e o que eu posso te dizer é isso, quando ele está em campo.
Y veremos, creo que no, en este caso es tema zonal, puede ser con doblaje, pero sí, en este caso pues no me gustaría que hubiera una falta brusca donde hubiera una problemática. Creo que hay formas y en esto pues nosotros también pues veremos y ya los muchachos más o menos tienen claro cómo va a ser.
The five-time world champions are among the favourites to lift the trophy, but so far the flair and killer instinct they are known for is missing. Stats are loaded in their favour as well, for they have lost only once to Costa Rica in 10 meetings between the sides. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And joining me in the studio, like always, Shekhar Luthra, sports editor of the DNA, and Jyoti Bharat, of course, former Indian national player. Before we chat about this big match between Brazil and Costa Rica, let's take a look at the lineup, the possible lineup for Brazil first. Of course, Alisson in goal, Danilo right back, Thiago Silva, Miranda, Marcelo left back, Fernandinho, Casemiro, Coutinho, Willian, Neymar and Firmino. We look at the Costa Rican lineup as well. You have Keylor Navas in goal, Gamboa, Gonzalez, Costa, Duarte, Calvo, Campbell, Guzman, Borges, Ruiz and Urena. Well, Jyoti, heartbreak from yesterday, of course, Argentina losing terribly to Croatia. But let's focus on the other South American team now. Brazil, great team on paper, but lackluster in the first match against Switzerland. A big match today against Costa Rica.
It is a big game for them. It's a young side. I'm sure they're eager to prove something at this World Cup. And they have the quality. And it's not just Neymar, you know, he's supported by a bunch of really quality stars. And if they can all just, you know, even do well, it's not even their best, but if they can just play well together, this squad is really going to go far in this competition.
You know, Shekhar, as far as the Brazilian team is concerned, they showed us what they can do in the first 15 minutes of the match against Switzerland. But after that, after they scored the goal, they seem to have switched off. It remains to be seen what kind of game they bring to the table today, isn't it? The flair is what they are known for and they should play football that way.
I think Brazilians are always known for, you score 3, you get 2, that's free-flowing football. If you come back to defense, if you try and imitate other teams, then you are not playing the Brazilian style. That's somewhere, the Argentinians are mix of, Brazil and Europe. That's where they are good in defense. But Brazilian flair is different. And, looking at a scenario where Argentina looks like to be out, though, again, mouth-watering things for so many. But believe me, this is the first time in the World Cup history probably where there is a scenario looking like where both teams could actually, go out if they don't play to their potential. And today's game is the key game, not just for us, not just for the fans, but also for the organizers. Because if this team goes out, believe me, the entire spectre, the entire, the entertaining kind of thing will go out of the World Cup.
The Brazilian formation is on air at the moment. Of course, they're likely to play a 4-2-3-1 kind of a formation in this particular match. Jyoti, players to watch out for, like you mentioned, of course, certainly is Neymar, but he's going to be marked because of his quality. That having been said, do you think that there could be someone else in the team who could be the man to watch out for today? For that matter, Firmino, for instance.
Firmino comes into the side. He didn't play the first game. But Neymar being marked can be a positive for them because they have Coutinho is going to be free. He's been in great form. Going forward, they have Willian. These are players who can shoot from anywhere. And Neymar being marked, I think, will be a blessing in disguise for them.
Sure. Shekhar, as far as the other team is concerned, Costa Rica, we are expecting Brazil to play an attacking game today because of what happened in the previous game against Switzerland. That having been said, do you think that the goalkeeper Keylor Navas will be the man for Costa Rica today?
Definitely. He has to come out with some surprises because he's the key man. We have seen in the last game also. It was not like first 15 minutes. There were a couple of other attacks by Brazilians, but the goalkeeper stood so firm. And that's where I think the dependence on goalkeepers is so much for the, especially for these teams, which are underdogs, which are trying to make a, mark in this World Cup. And that's where I think in last couple of days, ever since World Cup has taken off, I think all these underdog teams are doing so well because their defense, their, goalkeepers, they are doing well. And today's game could be one of those.
Sure. Moving on now, of course, to the other game. Nigeria first appeared in the World Cup in 1994 after having struggled for years to get in. In that edition, they shone through too, topping their group that had Argentina, Bulgaria and Greece. This time, the Super Eagles have the youngest squad at the World Cup and the lack of experience has shown. The African side are at the bottom of Group D after losing their opening match 2-0 to Croatia, and if they want to stay in contention, they need to do well against Iceland. Iceland, on the other hand, are at the World Cup for the first time and they impressed in their opening game when they held mighty Argentina into a 1-1 draw. Hans Halldórsson put in an impressive performance at the goal and helped Iceland to grab a vital point. They will be keen to take their performance forward today. Well, let's take a look at the possible lineups as far as this match is concerned. Nigeria first in goal, Uzoho, right back Shehu, defenders Troost Ekong, Balogun, Idowu, Ndidi, Mikel Onazi, Moses Ighalo and Iwobi. Looking at the Iceland possible lineup now, of course, in goal we have Halldórsson, who performed extremely well in that first match against Argentina, where he certainly was the man of the match there. We've got Severson, Arneson, Sigurdsson, Magnusson, Hallfredsson, Gunnarsson, Sigurdsson again, this is G. Sigurdsson of course, Bjornsson, Gislason and Finn Bogson. This is the lineup as far as Iceland is concerned. Jyoti, Iceland team, first World Cup, but over the last 2 years, they have put in some amazing work. They have performed extremely well in the Euros. They beat Spain in the opening match, and now they have held Argentina as well, 1-1 in the previous match of the World Cup.
It's fascinating to see such a small country put up such an amazing team, a team that is, shocking the world really. Their first game against Argentina was very impressive. Argentina had no way through them, and to come out and score against them and draw that game 1-1, it's unexpected, and they're going to be super high on confidence going into today's game.
Sure, they're going to be super high on confidence. Shekhar,
looking at their team, most of these players had exposure in either Denmark, Sweden or Norway. Again, all these three teams are so good in aerial play. They are, again, all the tall players are there. And they are there not as a, they are not there to enjoy the party. They are the party spoilers. And that's what Iceland has shown. That if you are not serious against them, if you are taking them just on the basis of population 5 lakhs or somewhere, that
less than 5 lakhs.
Less than small part of Delhi somewhere, then you are making a big mistake. These guys are there to...
It's incredible, isn't it? A population of under 5 lakhs producing world-class players like this.
But that's the beauty of this entire Europe, that side, these are small countries. And for most of the time, they can't come out and play. But the moment they get that opportunity, they all come out. It's a kind of playing nations, the small playing nations. You go there, see them cycling, see them even rowing in those kind of, temperatures. That's what the beauty of these small countries.
Iceland's formation on air at the moment in front of us, of course, most likely to play a 4-2-3-1 kind of a formation, of course, is Iceland. And if you look at Nigeria, it's most likely to play a 4-3-3 kind of a formation. Jyoti, as far as this particular World Cup is concerned, are you surprised with how so many teams have shown so much of caution? They have played a very defensive game all throughout, scoring once and then defending, not going for the second goal.
Yes, so that has been surprising. It's not as attacking as we would hope to see as viewers, but statistically, it's working for them, and that's their strategy, especially with weaker teams going up against a slightly stronger team, them adopting a slightly more defensive approach. It's working for them because it keeps them in the running. But, as a viewer, I'd love to see slightly more attacking football.
But that's what, Jyoti, always happens, Safety first is the formula for every team. Yeah. Once you are through to the second round, then comes the attacking game, because that's where I think you have to, go for do or die kind of situations. We have seen in the past also, first 3 matches are always been relatively, on the back foot. You go score there and try and defend there, You just have to go through, not thinking too much about the score line. But in that group, in Argentina or somewhere, if they have to go through, now they have to think about the goal.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the third match of the day. Serbia will take on Switzerland in a crucial Group E game, which may well decide who advances through to the round of 16 from the group featuring Brazil and Costa Rica as well. Serbia currently leads the group after their win against Costa Rica in the opening game. On the other hand, world number 6 team Switzerland cannot be discounted, especially after their stout 1-1 draw against the 5-time world champions Brazil in the opener. This will be the first ever meeting between the two sides, and the Swiss hold the record of losing just one of their last 4 games against a European side in the World Cup. World number 6 Switzerland is also on a stupendous run, losing just one of its last 23 games, where it has won 16 times and drawn 6 times. That also included a draw against one of the favourites, Brazil, last week. Well, looks like it's going to be a tough game between Serbia and Switzerland. Jyoti, what's likely to happen here? Who do you think is going to win this match? Difficult to call, would you say?
I think it's going to be a draw. I think both teams are going to be equally matched. Switzerland showed us in their first game that they are a very good defensive side. The way they defended against Brazil, they're up against, a quality attacking side, and to defend like that for 90 minutes was a very good. And they're going to go up against Serbia, who are not going to find it easy to score against them. So it's going to be a very, very close
tactical game, would you say?
Very tactical game, yeah. And I think the difference is going to be set pieces.
Okay, the difference is going to be set pieces. Let's look at the lineup now as far as Serbia is concerned. They're most likely to play a 4-5-1 formation. And if you look at their team, of course, you have Stojakovic, Ivanovic, Milenkovic, Tosic, Kolarov, Matic, Milovejic, Savic, Tadic, Kostic and Mitrovic. difficult names to pronounce, but I hope I got that right. Talking about Switzerland now, let's look at the lineup as far as Switzerland is concerned. Sommer, Lichtsteiner, Scher, Akanji, Rodriguez, Behrami, Shaka, Shaqiri, Zemali, Zubair and Seferovic make up the 11 for Switzerland. World number 6, Switzerland. They've been a great side, great, not very great to watch, but they've got the job done at the end of the day.
Yes, they are tactically, they are very superior. The defense, as Jyoti was saying, they are one of the best sides in the world right now as far as defending is concerned. But again, this Yugoslav bloc, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, all this bloc was so solid when, those olden days. So Serbia, all these smaller countries have come out of that. And look at these players, they are very formidable sides. Most of them are playing in that particular block where Russia is one of the key places, the Russian league. So I think for them, it's like coming back to their own cities. There'll be a lot of support from the fans also, and we have seen in this particular there are hostile fans also. They are supporting them. Iran is one of those which are enjoying this hospitality. So I would expect a tough game. But
the crowds at the end of the day,
having a draw at this level, I'm telling you, it would be a spoiler for both. One has to come out as a winner because that's fair.
3 points after the first match.
Yes.
Serbia
will be obviously keen to have a draw, but not this Swiss side.
Yes.
Swiss will have to, because depends what will happen in the first game.
Certainly.
If Brazil wins, Switzerland will go all out to win.
Indeed. All right. It's going to be interesting, of course. On that note, we'll slip into a short break. It's a wrap-up as far as the preview is concerned. On the other side, we'll review the matches of last evening. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha TV's coverage of the FIFA World Cup. Croatia thumped their way into the round of 16 after defeating football powerhouse and one of the favourites, Argentina, 3-0 on Wednesday. Argentina, locked in the group of death, now stares at an early and hurtful elimination as they just have 1 point from 2 games.
Football powerhouse and one of the prime contenders to lift the trophy, Argentina looked hurt, hit and halved as Croatia steamrolled a 3-0 drubbing. Ante Rebic, Luka Modric and Ivan Rakitic scored for Croatia, ensuring the side sails into the next round. After a goalless but highly matched first half, Croatia stamped their authority in the second.
Across at the other end. Oh, that's a gift for Rebic!
First to score was Ante Rebic in the 53rd minute. He made the most of an error by Argentine goalkeeper Willy Caballero.
They fell apart at the back. Now he'll unleash one.
Skipper Luka Modric then put his side on course in the 80th minute after hammering home a thunderous shot just from the outside area with 10 minutes left. Croatia was 2-0 up, leaving Argentina hanging by a narrow thread. The icing on the cake for Croats came in the dying minutes when Ivan Rakitic scored the crossbar with a free kick, finishing off the rout and leaving subdued Lionel Messi and his Argentina team dejected.
Ja od prvog dana vjerujem u moju ekipu. Iskreno nisam vjerovao da ćemo baš nakon druge utakmice proći dalje, ali sam vjerovao da možemo proći dalje. Nije Argentina bila zbrkana ekipa, nego mi smo bili sjajni.
Bueno, usted está generando una responsabilidad en algo como usted dijo, yo soy el responsable de tomar las decisiones. Yo creo que hoy la
group game against Nigeria to boost their chances of advancing into the second round.
Argentina in big trouble.
Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, let's take a look at the table as far as Group D is concerned. Like the commentator was mentioning there, Argentina indeed in big trouble. They have to wait and see what will happen in the match between Nigeria and Iceland. Nigeria, of course, is the only team that can help Argentina to go through to the next round. Let's take a look at the tally now, of course, and see what how the tally stands. Croatia on top there, 6 points. Iceland 1 point. Argentina 1 point, and Nigeria on 0. Jyoti, what went wrong?
What didn't go wrong is the question. Nothing went right for them yesterday. They just didn't look like they arrived. It was just Messi was out of it. The defense was all over the place, and to add to that, Croatia was playing so well. They just their passes. Modric was on fire. You know, it was like a great side that was working so well, going up against a side that was just
mediocre.
Not there. They were just not there.
They were just not there. Harsh words from Jyoti.
No, thankfully, it was just 3-0. I was actually remembering that Germany versus Brazil game last time. You know, they were completely out of place. Argentinians, are you going to do wonders with having Aguero, a half-fit Aguero, and then Higuain as a replacement? His prime is past, you know. He was not even fit during the last World Cup. Forget about this thing. I mean, somewhere I thought that Argentina, for the first time in my memory, since 1982, I have started watching football seriously. First time I actually thought Argentina never deserved to win this game.
And never deserved to probably be in the World Cup as well.
Never, with this kind of team, with Messi completely out of place, he was not been able to penetrate for even a single time.
Sure.
How can you win a World Cup game like this? And then on the other side, Croatia, look at this team.
Modric was on fire. Modric was indeed on fire, and he's a player to watch out for the rest of the tournament. And Croatia is my dark horse for this tournament. Moving on now. France entered the round of 16 after defeating Peru 1-0 in their second group game on Thursday with back-to-back wins in the group matches. France now sits at the top of Group C with 6 points. Meanwhile, Peru has been eliminated after 2 defeats. Both teams have one more game to play in the group stage.
Here's Giroud.
France secured their passage into the World Cup knockout stage after a tense 1-0 victory over Peru in Yekaterinburg.
The youngest ever goal scorer.
The 1998 world champions were tested in bouts by the South Americans, whose forward line came close on few occasions. Kylian Mbappe became France's youngest scorer at a World Cup when he earned the Les Bleus a 1-0 win. The 19-year-old tapped in after Olivier Giroud's shot looped over goalkeeper Pedro Gallese after it took a deflection off a defender in the 34th minute of the high-intensity match. The defeat meant curtains down for Peru's World Cup campaign, a disappointing moment after having made it to the first World Cup since 1982. Throughout the match, Peru played boldly and had their best chance 5 minutes into the second half when Pedro Aquino's fierce shot hit the post.
They didn't quite come back enough.
France now need only a draw against Denmark in their last game to top the group after the Danes were held 1-1 by Australia earlier on Thursday. Peru joined Morocco, Saudi Arabia and Egypt in exiting the tournament after 2 matches. Kumar Abhishek's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Today in Samara against Denmark.
Jyoti, it was scrappy. It wasn't impressive. The goal was a simple tap-in, but France got the job done at the end of the day.
They did. They looked slightly more, in tune yesterday. They were working slightly well. I think Giroud's inclusion helped. I think the standout man for France, for me, was Kante. He was controlling the midfield. Mbappe was full of confidence, lovely trickery and stuff, but not their best, but they got the job done.
Talking about Kante, Kante reminded me of the Italian Gattuso shaker, a bull running up and down, running 10-12 kilometers in a game. He's clearly a man to watch out for as far as the French is concerned.
As a different group for Peru, Peru would have advanced. Probably they were in the wrong group. They were against quality teams, and that's where I think that much mattered. For France, I definitely hope they'll keep on improving, and this is a side which should be there in the semi-finals. Looking at the potential as well as the that trickery which they created yesterday.
If you look at the group tally right now, France are through from this particular group. Denmark and Australia. Next match is going to be crucial. If Denmark loses to France and Australia wins by a few goals, because if you look at the goal difference, it's just -1 for Australia. Denmark is a +1, but if they lose, that +1 becomes a minus, and Australia wins.
For the first time, I think Australians look solid. Not just in the defense, which they are good in, but also they attacked for the first time, and that's where I think it's a decent result for them. Because as we were talking
about result, let's look at what happened in the match. Australia secured a valuable Group C draw with Denmark to keep alive their hopes of progressing to the knockout stage of the FIFA World Cup. Both Australia and Denmark scored a goal each. Denmark's Christian Eriksen scored the opener in the 7th minute to give his side a 1-0 lead over the Socceroos. Australia levelled the score just before half-time after Matt Leckie's header came off the hand of Denmark's Yusuf Poulsen. The referee awarded the penalty after consultation with VAR, which Mile Jedinak converted into a goal to level the score. Both sides were unable to find a winner as the Socceroos claimed a deserved point to keep their last 16 hopes alive, while Denmark temporarily go to the top of the Group C on 4 points after the draw. That was, of course, yesterday, and after which France won their match, and then France now sitting on top of the group. Jyoti, what's likely to happen? Is it difficult to say whether Denmark will go through or Australia? But Australia has a real good chance in this particular group, from this particular group, isn't it?
I think they've set themselves up nicely. Yesterday they played really well. Leckie was very impressive. He was always in the attack, created a lot of chances. They were unlucky to not, have come away with a better result. But of course Denmark is a class side. I think going forward, I think Denmark has a tougher job against France. But Peru, you can't say anything about them. So much respect for them, the way they played yesterday. It's going to be very close. It's just going to be a matter of who can score.
It's a matter of pride for Peru, so they're going to go all out in the next match. But what about France? Shekhar, do you think they're going to go all out against Denmark, or they're just going to play for a draw?
They have to. They have nothing to lose. They are sitting pretty there. But obviously, if they win, obviously Denmark will be in a hot soup. But again, as Jyoti was saying, Peru could actually fancy their chances against Australia.
Indeed.
That's one team I think Peru should be winning. And for Australia, obviously, you go out, you score, and there is no other way. Even if you lose, doesn't matter. You lose with a pride also.
All right, that's it from us here in our Rajya Sabha TV studios in Delhi. We are going to go across and watch the match, Brazil versus Costa Rica, in just a few minutes. We'll hope, and at least I'm going to hope and pray that Brazil wins this match, because now you know whom I'm rooting for. Thank you, both of you, for joining me here, and that's all the time we have today. See you again next time.